I'm Shayan, and I just want to tell a story here. Basically, it's just based on the facts that has been happening before. So as I said, this is based on a true story. This is mainly about a few individuals that really wanted to change the world for the better. And I just like a flashback. So this is a post from bitcointalk.org. I don't know how many of you actually know that website. It's from 2012, so before a lot of these projects actually were there, we were trying to create a Persian Farsi community. And this is a call for asking for help. Whoever speaks Farsi, please help. We didn't get that many responses in 2012, but I wish we bought more Bitcoins back then. So I want to tell you about a few entities that exist since then, or started after. So one of the websites is CoinIran, which is, it was founded in 2014. It was one of the first websites that had Farsi blockchain news and information. You can see it as CoinDesk, but non-profit Farsi, just Farsi. And it's based in Netherlands. So this group is focused on education mostly, and what they do is basically translating news and technical articles. Something they started a few years ago is public benchmark reports on Iranian crypto exchanges, which has helped a lot in standardizing the ecosystem and removing the shady exchanges. And one of my favorite things is the translation and distribution of Bitcoin books for kids. And it's more toward like rural areas and actually people that are interested in new technology. Another entity is Shiryahat, which is a podcast started in 2015, focused on just technical education. Shiryahat means head or tails, and we were coming up with the name. We wanted to have a coin there, but we didn't know where this tech is going. So we're like, let's just see how it goes. It started with Mumble audio channels. It was pre-Discord for gamers that were using those. And we didn't know most of the people that were in those channels. But we started recording. It was really fun. We have volunteers from 10 different countries, but the base is Canada. And there has been like a lot of episodes. Like we started early in 2016 and 2015 talking about Ethereum. What are the blockchains? Back then, like tokens and blockchains were like kind of used interchangeably. We discussed what they mean. We got to mining, Bitcoin Cash Fork. It was like interesting, exciting times to go through. And we also like started when COVID happened. A lot of times we were talking about what to do when you're stuck in home, like where you can learn things. And also did the whole series on DeFi. That means like what is DeFi, what is stable coins, decentralized exchanges, AMMs, lending protocols, all these. And we were called that we are showing off our scientific knowledge just because it was too early a lot of times. But I'm glad that like a lot of people learn from here, and like I see them in the community here and there. And another entity that is active in this group is Cryptozan, which is Women Blockchain Farsi. They started in 2021, mainly by 7 Iranian women from 4 countries, and they all have certifications of one Consensus Academy Solidity Bootcamp that they were graduating top 30%. And another one, Securium Bootcamp, which is a smart contract security bootcamp, and they graduated top 10%, and there was more than 1,000 students in that class. And they're basically just trying to educate. And this was a really happy moment in the whole ecosystem, both Iranian and outside, and it was celebrated. So at CoinIran, we were celebrating that we're empowering Iranian women with blockchain, with all this knowledge, and also this is a CoinDesk article that says like consensus grants are helping Iranian women, and it was really a moment of hope. There was like positive hope all over. And I want to thank, this whole thing started with Women Blockchain founder Tessie Mehrain and also Bahar, co-founder of CoinIran. So with the help of them, we were able to like get there, and also Consensus Academy. But well, no, I'm not going to get there. Right? So Cryptozan, one thing they started, the 4 of them, they got together. They really loved the whole experience. And they spent like 8 months creating a Farsi Solidity course. So the course was one of the most comprehensive courses I've ever seen, starting from what is a hash function to how do you do like flash loans on Uniswap. Yeah, and they wanted to create this whole CoinIran Academy. So the first course was in summer 2021. There were 35 students. It was 4 months long, 28 hours of online classes. And at the end, nine of the students were submitting a project, they were evaluated, and they got a POAP certification, as you can see there. And the idea was basically to create this course on demand and make side workshops and make a self-sustaining business for them to be able to continue. And because this was so successful, we were like, let's spread the love. So there was a second round of the Consensus Academy Bootcamp, and basically we got a non-monetary scholarship, so only mentorship. And the idea was like for every 10 students, we had one mentor helping them throughout this course. And on the first tweet, 200 people applied, and we got through all of them. 120 got through the first selections, mostly like knowing English, how much of technical knowledge you have. And there was a prerequisite course on like just basic technicals. So, and 65 people also got passed through this course. And based on what we know, around 45 of them were Iranians, and the rest were from Afghanistan. So the course was 3+ months long. The course went pretty good. The last 2 weeks, something happened, which is basically on a Friday morning, 43 of those students got this email that they're suspending their enrollment based on the countries that they're from. And it was everyone was really confused. We didn't get any responses from Consensus. We want to know what's happening there. And the thing is, like Iranians in the last few decades, they're trained that like nothing comes easy, and you need to fight, even for like your basic rights for information. As you may know, internet is censored there by Iran's government, and also like by Iran governments like Twitter, Telegram, Facebook, BBC, CNN. They're filtered. And also many services are banned due to US sanctions. Like anything on Google Cloud, you cannot access in Iran. Or SourceForge, actually no one uses SourceForge anymore. And GitHub and Slack also banned Iranian devs, but then there was a kind of like it backfired, and they kind of reverted the decision, and they only give access to the free accounts for all the Iranian users. So this happened, and we're like, we're going to get up and do something better. So the show must go on. And the Women Blockchain Farsi, they decided that forget about money, let's just open source everything. And they started working on editing videos, on doing the text. And we were like, all right, let's create a Gitcoin grant to basically support this work and support this initiative. And it was really beautiful. Like the course was really nice. But the grant only lasted 1 day. And we got an email that out of abundance of caution to ensure compliance with US law, your grant is suspended. We tried to like get more in touch, but the whole committee was basically like dazed and confused. All they wanted to do, kind of coming back to Alfia's conversation about, they just wanted to teach and teach more people and learn. And they really felt like demoralized and unwelcome from the whole Web3 community. And also the confusion was like, is Gitcoin a DAO? Is it supposed to be fighter for public good? And there was one main difference from Consensus case with Gitcoin was Gitcoin started having the conversation, started having a forum topic, talking about this. And nothing really came out of that conversation, but I really appreciate that opening a channel to be able to talk about this. There was a lot of emotions up and down. Like if you read the topic, you see that. And we're like, again, show must go on. Let's do this. And thanks to a shout out to Giveth that basically gave a home to Cryptozan grants. And the most important, they took them with kindness and they listened to them. And they invited them to community calls. And the course was finally packaged and published on YouTube and on the forum. And just to know that it had more than 34,000 views just on Twitter or just on YouTube. And just, let's pause here. Solidity course in Farsi had more than 34,000 views. And even the forum had 3,500 active users. Farsi, Solidity. I don't know how many DAOs out there have a forum more than 3,500 users. So it was really good. Like we did it. And we're like, all right, sweet relief. We finally did this. Let's thank everyone by giving everyone a POAP of gratitude. And we created this POAP, which actually this t-shirt is the same. We were like, we can only go to the moon together, let's go. And we want to thank all the Giveth and Gitcoin grant funders. Just want to shout out to some of these people. There are more than 1,000 people there, and some of them like Tim Bako, Griff Green, Richard Schumann, Jeff Coleman, Michael Zargam, Joseph DeLong, Kevin Owaki, DeFi Dad, Willy Wonka, Ben West, Spencer Noon. All these names, we know them. So they were recipients of this POAP, but they were denied because of sanctions. Why? That was our question too. So we took to the forum. We were like, hey guys, it's a non-profit, volunteer-based podcast based in Canada. There's no monetary token here. Like, what are the sanctions? And the response was, we're sorry, we cannot accept any events from sanctioned countries. And we're saying we're based in Canada and only serving Metaverse and YouTube and Spotify. Our goal is to increase diversity and inclusion, and we actually said sorry for the confusion. And we were like, if there is any misunderstanding, we're willing to jump on a call and fix that. That conversation kind of died there, so we tried again, and we asked, can you expand on this? Because there was a really sensitive moment. And we asked again if you can just say based on what merit this review was done, how's this review done? And as you can see, a day after the thread was closed, we didn't hear back. Who cares? But so there are not really isolated incidents. There are a lot about OpenSea closing down NFT artists based on IP. It was all over the news. Metamask banning or geo-blocking Iranian IP addresses. It's all over. The main issue was not communicating it properly. We got a lot of messages from people really scared that their MetaMask was showing zero balance, and they're like, what happened to all our money and where is it? And it was just because the Infura was not returning a proper error message. So we said the show must go on. We have a lot of Give grants. All of these are trying to do good. Safe Internet Usage is offering EVPNs, how to use proper OPSEC to be safe. That's a podcast. There's a lot of them you can see. And with Iran on-chain, we're planning to be able to expand on this to a lot of more projects that were just shut down early on. As soon as they say Iran, people are just, don't talk to me. And the last thing is, as the show must go on, we created this first sanctioned POAP, because who needs this permission sticker on a blockchain when we have ZK badges? And this is a project called Sismo. I don't know who's behind it, but I really like their UX and their interface. So if you ever participated in our grants before, you should be able to claim it here. And I think I added Tornado Cash address also to the recipient, so I'm not sure. I have to see. So I want to kind of build up to the next talk. I think Fatima should be around here. Oh, yeah. So as also Amin mentioned, in September 2022, OFAC released this General License D2 update that anything for secure communication, free internet access, education content, they're allowed for every US entity. It's not anymore outside the US. And so because of that, we basically created a whole legal guideline. It was an expensive one, but it worked. And we hope to see consensus to readmit Iranian students. I know Coursera does. I don't know why consensus can't. And Gitcoin to commit to work with Iran on-chain, the NGO, for future fundraising. They don't need to care about any of the paperwork. We handle that. And POAPs, yeah. So thank you.